Hi, and welcome to the first episode of our Opinionated Lushes Books and Booze of Season 3, all the way now, Season 3. I feel like we just started this yesterday. But we had a break, and now I have no idea what we're doing. So I'm trying to remember. Yes, so we bring on indie authors, and they get to tell us about themselves and the work that their projects are working on. And if we're lucky, we get to listen to a little bit of the books that they're promoting on our episode. And I'm just going to pass this on to Dawn Marie so I don't mess anything else up.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm so excited to introduce to you guys Brooklyn Cross and Melissa McSherry. Hi guys, how are you?
Hello.
Hello. I am good.
Tell us a little bit about yourself first. We'll ask Brooklyn and then we'll ask Melissa. Tell us where you're from, how you got into writing. Do you have any pets? What are their names? And if you want to give me your credit card number too, I'm totally cool with that.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Where am I from? I'm from Ontario, Canada. So I'm in the southern end. I'm actually not too far from Melissa. I think we're like an hour away from one another.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I used to be from Ontario, and then I moved.
To New Brunswick.
And then I moved. I love New Brunswick. That would be awesome to move out there. How did I start writing? Well, I've always wrote, whatever you want to call it, but I didn't really take it seriously until, I don't know, maybe about 8, 10 years ago. And I didn't take it seriously thinking about trying to publish. I just took it seriously, just writing more. And I had wrote an entire, well, I considered it one book, but it's actually, if I break it up, it would be about 10 books because I
Wow.
broke Word. There's over 2 million words in the doc.
That's amazing.
It's a big story. It's a big story. So
I can't get past 10,000 words, and here you are with 2 million. Like, okay.
Word was like, that's it, I'm done. We can no longer do spell check. I give up.
You've reached the end.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I am done with you. If the word is spelt wrong, too bad. It fainted, and that was that. So I had to start breaking it up into pieces, and I'll eventually bring that story out. So, but yeah, I used to ride competitively, like horseback ride competitively, and that was actually my goal. That was my job. And when I had to give it up, I didn't know what to do with myself because I'd always worked with horses from the time that I was like 6 years old. So there was just you kind of feel lost. Like anyone that's like a hardcore athlete will tell you the same thing. Without it, it's like losing part of yourself. So writing just became an outlet, which is why I started writing on a more regular basis. And then in 2021, September 3rd, 2021, so almost what, 3 is that 3 years or 4 years? My math
4
is
years.
bad.
We're hitting 2025 soon.
So
Yeah. So this September would be what, 4 years then? September 21, 22, 23, 20. Okay, my math. See, I gotta use fingers.
Yeah.
No, it's 3. It's 3.
But
Okay,
yeah,
no one knows
Dawn,
math here. Okay, numbers are hard.
math is not important.
Math is not important.
That's it.
We're authors. We don't need to math.
No,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be 3 years since I put out my first book, which was Dark Side of the Cloth.
Nice.
So that is that. That's me. I'm done now.
Melissa, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, I'm from Hamilton. I went to high school with Dawn, actually. um, why did I start writing? I don't know. That is the honest question. I had never, or honest answer, not question. I had actually never written anything before in my life, unless it was forced schoolwork that I hated. Um, I was a big reader though, and I was an ARC reader, and I loved chatting to indie authors and supporting them. And then one day I had an idea, and an indie author told me that I should take it and run with it. And I did. And I just haven't stopped since.
That's amazing.
So it's been a wild ride. I published my first book July 2023, right? Yes, July 2023. I published my first book. And yeah, other than that, I'm a stay-at-home mom. Writing is my full-time job now. And
Nice, the dream. Like it's just
it's nice. I mean, like I have 7 kids, so working is like really hard.
oh
So it's nice to be able to
7
actually bring
kids.
in.
Wow.
I know, right? So it's nice to be able to contribute without, stopping what I've been doing over the years for the family and the household and everything.
that's great. Yeah.
That's
Uh,
amazing.
and because Dawn specifically asked for pets, I have a dog and I have a cat, and their names are Kayla and Nix.
I
Oh,
love that.
what
I
kind
know
of
you
I,
don't want to
dog?
give
I,
me those credit
I,
card numbers, but like
I
I'm gonna
totally,
forgive you.
I totally forgot about the pet thing.
Well, I mean, you
You
talked
want
about
Sister Pet
horses though.
Weekend?
I
You talked
did.
about horses, so
I did that, but
you
that's a
got it.
that's a sad story because all of them have passed away. So let's
Oh,
not get into that.
Okay.
Okay. This got dark real quick.
It
Okay.
got dark. It got dark. That seems to happen with my books too. So we're on the right path.
yeah,
Yeah,
this is
we are.
starting. Good mood to start it in.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Awesome. All right. Do you guys want to talk about your duet briefly, like what it's like kind of about, and then we'll get into reading a little bit about it?
Sure. You go first, Brooklyn. I'll take second wheel. Well, I mean, you went first with the introduction, so we'll just go back in order.
It's fair. It's fair.
What is it about? Well, really, so the stories are, although it's a duet, we really kind of designed them that they are standalones for their own relationships. So there's crossover as far as seeing each other's characters. They're best friends who basically own a bar, so which is the Bourbon Boys bar, hence Bourbon Boys duet. So you do see them and we have that, but we didn't do any like with Cain and Abel when I did them at the end of Cain, unless you read Abel, you don't know what happens with the relationship between the two brothers, right? We don't have that with this. So there's that sort of interaction. But yeah, I don't know how to better describe it than that. But basically they are two very unhinged men. And
That's
they
what I
have
like
That's
about it.
their
true.
The
It's
more
very
true.
toxic, the better.
own unique unhinged stories with their own girls. That's where I'm going with that. Yeah, that's about it. That's about it. Yeah. Do you like unhinged?
Yeah. That's the
Yeah,
best
yeah.
kind. Yeah.
Yeah,
See
I
my
don't know if
exes? Like, yeah. Like,
But they're also like different types of unhinged too, right? Like they have
very
different levels of unhingedness and different stuff that gets them going, which is cool.
true. Yeah. Yeah, hence why the two different names. So Grayson with bloody, obviously, blood play, stuff like that is what really kind of gets him going. And then with Lennox in burning, obviously it's fire. We kind of
Yeah.
just played off the titles.
yeah. Yeah, I
So
read Bloody like really quickly. I like went through that within a day. Like,
She did. I said to her when she
zoom.
texted me and told me she was done.
Yeah, like I just like flew through that. And then when I got burning, which took like it was such a struggle for me and Melissa. Like she kept trying and I was like, it still hasn't hit my Kindle. And then like finally we got it. And then my kid was like at home and he was being such a jerk. I've only got to 47%, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, but I will finish it. I promise you, I will.
I believe you. I believe you.
Like I went through Bloody like so quickly, but burning, I'm like, I want to get through it, but I can't because like life is just in the way, man. It sucks. But
I
yes,
feel that.
life is a pain.
It
Oh
Life
my
is
is.
gosh. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, like, dang it.
yeah.
Back to
Yes.
school is coming, man.
Okay, I got the countdown going. All right, we're like at 11 days.
I know, my
11
kids keep telling me.
days.
Your kids are excited to go back.
Yeah. Yeah, mine are.
I'm excited. Like, I'm
That's
like,
I was like,
get out of
I'm
my house.
excited. Yeah. No. I
Um.
was
Okay. So, do you want to say the drink word, Sonia?
I
And then
can,
we'll
yeah.
we'll
So
get Brooklyn to read a little bit.
this is usually my only job when it comes to these because Jessica is really good at doing introductions. So the drink words today are dark, carousel, bloody, bourbon, and unhinged. So
I actually don't think I chose any words that are actually in the book.
that's okay. We
I,
can.
I just kind of chose words that went along with the book.
Okay, so it'll be a surprise for everybody.
If
That'll
we
be
drink or
great.
not. Like,
You know, apparently I
Yeah.
don't follow instructions well.
You should have said blood, cock.
Right,
Okay,
right.
listen, we can. We'll put cock in there. Cock. Every time we hear cock, everyone take a drink or anything like cock related.
yeah,
Like,
sex.
yeah, anything like dangle. Even like if like rooster comes up, like that's the same thing. Same.
Do you have
Don't
roosters
give
in
me
your
any
book?
ideas. I don't have any, but I'm sure that I can now find a book to put them in. So
Yeah.
So whenever you're ready, Brooklyn,
okay, so
you take over and we'll drink.
I have a question first.
Yes, of
Okay.
course.
So first question, are you wanting, and I will tell you that I am not reading a spicy scene. So
Okay.
I'm gonna make this, throw that out there. I can do when Grayson first sees Alora. I can do sort of like more of an emotional chapter, or there's the beginning of sort of like a fun chase scene from Grayson's POV. What would you like?
Whatever you feel comfortable reading. If you want to read more emotional, we can go with that too. Like, it doesn't have to be spicy. That's just a lot of people come on here to read spicy, but it doesn't have to be. Let me just be
Okay.
honest. It doesn't have to be.
Who wants to come on and read Spike? I would like pay someone to come on and read for
So
me.
many.
Join us weekly and you can listen to other people read spicy.
Yeah. We have only had like 2 science fiction people.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
that. Yeah. It's
And one
mostly,
poet.
yeah, it was mostly spice.
Yep.
This used to be a
How
big
do they
theme.
keep a straight face and read it? I could not.
I don't
I
know.
could not. I'd be howling. I howl when I write it. Never mind read it out loud.
Right
Are you
out.
kidding me?
Right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, I'm so immature.
Literally, that's me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
That
like
would
highlight stuff and send it to my mom, and she's like, "You're too much."
That's fantastic.
oh boy. Yeah, that would be me too. That's why I'm like, no, not like I would be tomato red and would stumble over every other word. So I will choose something else. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So in case anyone is interested, this is part of chapter 19. oh boy, I do not read out loud. I want to make that clear, okay? I do not read out loud.
Oh,
Take your time. Just
yeah. And if
go
there's
as slow
ever
as you want.
if there's ever a time you want to like a redo, Jessica, if you're listening, Jessica, she does because she does all the editing. Just like pause and just like start the sentence over, and that's just like an automatic cue. Jessica knows to like cut out that one part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No
All
pressure.
right.
No pressure. Yeah.
That is fair.
Yeah.
All right. So this is from from Alora's POV. Hi there, doll. How are you feeling? He lifted my cuffs over his head, and I eased back into the tub. I sucked in a sharp breath as the water hit the wound on my hand. Before we left the crypt, Grayson had sterilized it and put some sort of white tape, he said, that would help it heal. Then he wrapped it up. I'm not sure, but saying I feel like I've been run over by a train wouldn't do it enough credit. I said, wincing as I stretched out my legs. There wasn't a single part of my body that didn't have scrapes or bruises. Going around with Mike Tyson would have been easier. He would have just knocked my ass out. But this was a slow and deliberate torture designed to wear me down. I'll take care of some of that right now, he said, and stripped off his t-shirt and tossed it aside. I wanted to cry and at the thought of having sex again already. Grayson laughed. I'm not fucking you. I just don't want to get my shirt soaked. I slumped against the tub. Thank you, I said, my eyes fluttering closed. He could kill me right now, and I wouldn't lift a finger to stop him. A soft moan left my lips as he used the washcloth and slid it over my stomach. His hand was efficient and yet tender. How do you do that? Do what? This. Opening my eyes, I searched his face as he lifted my leg from the water and added more soap before gently running the cloth up and down. The red paint dripped off and discolored the water. You just chopped a man up, stabbed me, and now here you are playing nurse. Why haven't you killed me? My bottom lip trembled, but I was too fucking tired to cry. Just tell me what you want with me. Grayson looked at me and then resumed his work, but didn't say anything. Tell me about the accident that killed your sister and the other girl. Does that mean you're not going to answer my question? He glanced at me and there was a command in the simple act that was loud as if he'd screamed in my ear. Fine, don't tell me. I've resigned myself to dying. So whether it happened at the bridge or you drowned me in this tub, it doesn't matter anymore. He froze, his lip lifting as he growled at me. Like a great cat, he slunk into the tub, his body blanketing mine, his muscles flexed as he caged me with his arms and legs. Even though my body was battered and worn out, it instantly heated up. Is that what you still want? To die? He asked, his voice rumbling with aggression rolling off of him. I couldn't form words as he bit my lower lip and ran his tongue along it. When he let go, he had a red droplets on his tongue. Only then did I feel the sting of the cut he'd made. No answer? Do you even know? Back at the crypt, you said you didn't want to. So what's the truth, doll? I don't want to be scared anymore. I've spent my entire life angry or scared or in pain. I'm tired. I'm tired of the demons in my head. I'm tired of fighting the addiction that claws at my soul. Most of all, I'm tired of running from ghosts. I answered, spewing the reality that had been sitting on my chest every day for as long as I could remember. Kiss me. Leaning in slowly, I gave him a soft peck on his lips, and he lifted a brow at me. That's not a kiss. Kiss me and show me the emotion you're talking about. Make me understand. Give me your pain, doll. He licked at my lips. The act was sensual in the depravity of this moment. Let me rip it from your body and feast on it.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That was like a little spicy. That was like white people spice. You know, like salt
That was-
spicy.
That was
That
that
was
was
spicy,
yes.
like,
The
table-
chapter
table pepper.
before was extremely spicy.
Mhm.
This is yeah. So this
Are
this
we-
one this more emotional between them.
He
Grayson's level of
stabbed
emotional.
her? He stabbed her? How did I not know he was going to stab her?
Yeah, he stabbed her.
It
Yeah,
happens.
it was her punishment because she tried to run, so he stabbed her.
Oh.
Yeah, don't run.
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't-
you're fine.
don't like
I
that.
love I
Sounds
love
like
that
you
they
deserved
both
it.
I love that they both punish the girls in their books.
Like, how dare you?
Yeah, how dare you? Yeah, so there we go. So
That's good. You did great reading, by the way.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
I
did
did.
fantastic.
thank you, thank you. I just pretended you all weren't there.
Yeah, like no, like that's how I go through life. I just pretend there's nobody. Like
There's nobody there. There's nobody there. They're not looking at me. There's no light on me.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sonia, do you want to start off the questions?
Yes. So depending on your answers, my first question is a two-parter. So the first part is, are any of your characters inspired from people you know?
Go. It's your turn, Melissa. I've gone twice first.
Okay, yes, but under my pen name. If you read Apex, Christian is actually based off of my ex-boyfriend.
Oh, that's
So,
interesting.
it made it very right. We made writing Bexley's POV very therapeutic, but also like hard.
Okay.
Because very much what she went through, I went through. So, that is the only character I can think of that relates to anybody that I've dealt with or met in real life. I
Okay.
think it was like a therapeutic thing that needed to come out, and
Yeah.
it did. So,
Great.
That was an emotional book too. That was intense.
yeah. That one hurt to write, and book 2 is going to be even worse. So,
Oh, great! Yay!
Yeah. At least you got a warning. Yeah.
That was uplifting.
Let you
That was
know,
uplifting.
you're gonna cry.
hey, I've been saying people are going to cry since I posted the first teaser for it. So, nobody can come for me this time because I got so much messages over Apex. But no, in Burning, I don't think anybody's specifically from anybody or based off anybody that I know personally. Just
Okay.
characters that created themselves.
It's great.
What's your second part, Sonia, to your question?
Oh, I was gonna wait to see if Brooklyn wanted to answer that question, but
Oh.
that's okay. Melissa already answered it because the follow up was like, did you find it therapeutic doing it? So like Sheila was like on it already, like she answered it. So,
Oh.
yeah, she's like, that's probably gonna be the next part, so I'm just gonna answer it now.
Yeah, I
I'm
knew.
just
I just
gonna.
knew. I'm psychic like that. I just knew.
How long does it take either of you to write a novel, roughly? Like from start to finish?
I feel like it's different every time.
Yeah, it is a little different every time. I think it also depends on the length of the book, but on average, I'm about 6 weeks.
That's
Nice.
so
That's,
amazing.
yeah,
I'm on like
that's great.
6 years, but like
Me too. I have like 4 on the go, and I think it's been about 5 years working on I'm like, they're never gonna be done. It's fine.
I have a whole secular process that it took me a while to figure out what would work for me and my style of writing and the way that my brain works. So, but now that I have it, I'm pretty quick. So it's always there's always something moving, right? There's always a book in motion.
mhm,
So, and I write all my books in linear. So, like whatever is happening, or like
Mhm.
not happening, like whatever is next is what I write next.
Yeah, like from start to finish, right? Like you don't
Right.
skip
Yeah.
So,
ahead or yeah.
right. Like, um, so before Bloody, I had to work on Protective Flocks, which came out in July. So I was working on Protective Flocks, and the moment that it was done and it was in its final round of edits, I was immediately starting into Bloody. Now I actually ended up I'm behind now because I ended up taking 4 weeks. I'd injured my shoulder, so I couldn't write, and I don't do well with the voice
Voice
writing.
texting.
Yeah. Oh,
mhm.
I can't see the world. As soon as I open my mouth, it all disappears.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It-
So no, that did not work. So I ended up actually behind by 4 weeks because normally I'm very, very ahead.
mhm.
Um, and my next one comes out September 30th, which is Intolerable Bishop. Now, as it just so happens, I'm already 2/3 done that book. So
Nice.
it will probably be done in the next couple weeks, but then it's got to go through another, I go through 3 rounds of edits before it.
Mhm,
So usually I only have like a handful of like weird words that got mixed up, like an in instead of an on, or forgot an R and start, like that, and it makes another word or something. Like it still makes a
mhm.
word, but it's the wrong word. Those type of weird
Yeah.
things. Sometimes Vellum too will push when you're formatting. I don't know why it does this, but when you upload the doc, it'll push 2 words together. So unless you're reading all the lines, because it doesn't show up red, so
Okay.
it's
Oh, yeah.
right. So it's not until you load it into KDP that you notice that the 2 words have been pushed together, because KDP then
Oh,
tells you that there's an issue, and they've got like a whole new thing now when you load it, that it tells you what spelling errors there are, and you can actually go to that area and take a look and see what it is, and then fix it in your doc and go through them all and
that's
fix it and then re-upload.
That's good. Yeah.
yeah. That's like the final like line of defense, right? Like
Yeah,
before it like publishes, we gotta make sure. That's actually
yeah.
really good.
So yeah, so that's usually how mine goes. And my editor, I only work with the one editor, and she only works with me. Like I'm her only client. So we're always pushing things back and forth at one another. Like I'll hand her 3 chapters, and then I'm continuing writing, then she hands them back to me, and I'll be going over them and then pushing more at her. So we kind of like,
It just never
Nice.
stops.
Nice.
yeah, it never stops. There
It
is
never
no
stops.
downtime. That's the one thing that I think probably the average reader who's never tried to do this indie authoring type thing in any sort of fashion doesn't realize that there's never sort of like this, I'm just going to enjoy the moment, unless you're specifically only doing, you know, 1 or 2 books a year and you like taking your time, and you can do that. But when you're on a fast release pace,
Mhm.
there is no room. There's no breathing room. Like you might get a couple days and that's it. And if that's actually, Melissa just had this happen, she got inspired to write something else. Well, you can't stop that, because if you do, then you might lose it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you've got to go with it when it comes to you. So
Yeah.
sometimes even the time that you schedule, like I'm going to take this weekend off or whatever, it can
That
just,
doesn't happen. That's literally what
no.
happened to me. Said I was going to take a week off because I have not stopped. And in that week, I wrote a whole novella instead of taking the time
You
off.
didn't take any time off. Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It happens.
Melissa, did you want to answer that question, or do you want me to just move on?
Well, no, I think she pretty much covered it. It depends. With every book, it's different, like the time frame, because sometimes the story flows perfectly, crystal clear, you know, from start to finish what's going to happen, and the characters just guide you there. And then sometimes you think you know where you're going, and then you don't, and then you have to rework a whole bunch of stuff, or life gets in the way. I mean, I've had books that took me, you know, 4 or 5 months to write, and I've written a whole book in 10 days. It depends.
Yeah.
It's
All
different
right.
every time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's great. 10 days is insane, by the way. Just
Well, not when you think
That's
about
too
it, though. You
fast.
think about it, a chapter a day. It's only 10 chapters because it's a novella. So a chapter
okay.
a day, it's not that hard if you think about it that way.
Yeah, like you
Don't think
break
Yeah.
it
about the
up.
word count. Just think about a chapter a day. There you go.
Yeah, it does like little tasks,
Yeah.
like ADHD tasks. You have to like break them up.
Actually, with this one, I didn't plan it at all. I
Oh,
had no
did we
outline,
freeze?
no nothing. I didn't freeze.
No.
Oh,
It must have just been you, Domry. She's like,
it's just
what
me.
happened?
Well, like all I see is like little loading signs, and I'm like, oh crap, here we go.
Yeah, no, it's just you. Just you. That's
That's
fine.
okay.
It's all good.
Yeah. So, what part of this book did you have the hardest part writing? Um, it could like it since it's the duet, you but like you're both perspectives of the other book too, Melissa. If you'd like to.
I think with burning, it was research for me. I had to do so much research in order to write like the pyro scenes, or Stevie being like so big and into botany and all that stuff, a lot of plant research and all of that. It was a lot of making sure I had the facts about each thing correct when writing it. That was the hardest part for me because it's so slow. It makes it time go so slow, slows your writing so much because you're going back and forth, you know, with research online and then writing. It's just that's the worst part for me. That was the worst part.
It was just a research. Like I hate
It was
learning.
like doing schoolwork.
Yeah, damn school. Yeah.
I mean, it paid off in the end, but it was just a lot. It was a lot. I even researched literally how long it takes to chop up a body and what you should use and what would be the quickest way of disposing it, and then like how long it would take to turn the body to ash. I researched all of that to a T, and Lennox actually threatened somebody with it in the book, and it was all like
Watch out!
correct.
You'll end up on a TSA list like me.
I
I
know.
probably already am. I already am. I have to be. If I'm not,
Like
then they're failing their jobs.
Oh,
I think a lot of authors that write dark romance and stuff are like on the list, right? Like they're watching them.
seriously,
I have
seriously,
got to
they
be.
they haul me off every time and search my bags like I'm.
yeah, you're like can't cross any
I
border.
get
I'm
targeted
like,
too, and I don't, and I haven't. Like they look at me and they're like, "That girl, she sells meth. Get her over here. We're gonna pat her down again." Like every time we're in the airport, it didn't help
I
the
always
one
have
time
something.
I tried to bring a sex toy, um, in my carry-on, but it was in a bath bomb. And they looked at me and they're just like, what is this? I was like, oh, there's a vibrator in my bath bomb, and they're just like, oh, just like, yeah, I'll take my bag now, thanks.
You're like, thank you. Thank
Oh
you.
god.
That's okay. I think I'm gonna get a suitcase designed where there's actually like a monster peen in the bottom and it stands up if they open my suitcase.
Like a
Oh my god,
pop-up.
yes. And
Right?
then film it
Take
when they
my
open
money.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Film it
no.
when they open it. That'd be
So
hilarious.
this last time when I traveled to Boston, they searched my backpack, they searched my suitcase, and they went through my phone.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And
That's
so
intense.
of course he has everything. You can't film anything. There's signs everywhere. You cannot use your electronics, blah 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 blah. So anyway, he had my phone. I couldn't whatever. And yeah, but he opened my suitcase and of course I had everything vacuum sealed, right?
To
Because I
fit,
didn't want
right?
to well, I used a smaller suitcase. I didn't want to take my jumbo suitcase. I just wanted to take a smaller one. I hate always dragging around a big suitcase. So I had everything vacuum sealed. And he unzipped them all. So then
Oh no.
he had to sit on it to try and get it to close. I was like, what is happening? What did I
But
do?
why? But
With that?
why
Like, I'm
did
gonna
why,
miss my flight. Like, okay.
but
Yeah,
why did they
no,
stop you?
I have no idea. They keep telling me it's random, but this is the
Yeah,
third
they
time
do
it's
that too. They
happened.
say that all the
I'm
time.
like,
It's
this is
random.
not random. This is not 3 times. Listen, you need to update your algorithm if I'm your random 3 times.
Yeah,
Let me
Oh
tell
god.
you. So yeah, I have no idea.
that's
No, I
Yeah.
get stopped
crazy.
a lot too. Like I bring books. And so like I don't know if you know, but a lot of books kind of look like I guess C4. So like they
Oh,
don't understand. So they have to like go through it. And then my books are always like at the bottom of my bag and they're like, you need to take everything out so we can see. Like and then like I pack everything really tight and like folded nicely so everything fits because I only bring a backpack everywhere I go.
hmm.
And so now I just started bringing a Kindle, like because I can't get through without being checked if I am bringing books. It's ridiculous. They're just like, oh, it looks like it does look like explosives.
Because
I'm like,
people are just gonna walk through the airport with
right?
C4 in their
That's what I
bag.
mean. Like I don't understand. Like the intelligence levels here is not the highest, and
Intelligence.
like it's always in the States though. Like when I go in a Canadian airport, it's fine, but like Florida a lot's a big one. I get stopped a lot, and like a lot of other American airports. So it's
I'm fine
I guess
coming home. I'm fine going international. They always stop me going to the States.
oh
Y'all are making me so
I do
excited
not
to
know why.
travel.
yeah,
Oh, it makes me so frigging happy.
yeah,
I've
no.
never left, and now I don't want to, but I'm supposed to go to Florida, and now I'm like,
Oh,
eh.
Just don't put books in your bag. You'll be fine.
Don't put anything in your bag. Just go by yourself. Don't even pack. Just by
Yeah.
yourself.
yeah,
Buy
Just
everything once you
go,
get there, and then
buy stuff
return
when I
home.
get there. Yep.
yeah. They're like, "Do you have a bag?" No.
No, that's not suspicious
I
at
don't want to be
all.
searched.
So, sorry, left the C4 at home this time, guys.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, they do not have a sense of humor either. Do not joke about stuff
no.
like
Yeah.
that. No.
Oh my gosh.
Don't
Yeah.
joke with that.
When I'm nervous, well, I'm naturally just kind of like, "Blah, blah, blah." So when I'm nervous, even more so, they don't seem to appreciate it.
Oh, great.
No.
I'm like, oh, this is great.
It's
That
fine
would
once
just
you
make me
get
Sorry.
drink more.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to hightail that off into a totally different
No,
direction,
it's
but
fine.
yes, be careful.
no. It's I I think they deserve any weird stuff they find in bags. Okay. Like if you're
Yeah.
searching my stuff, you deserve everything you find.
I literally
Yeah.
think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going
Except
to
the
have it so that it
C4.
like
Oh
lays
my
down in the
gosh.
bottom and it springs up.
Yeah.
I think
That'd be
I think
ooh, and confetti. Like it's like it's like dick and confetti.
it have streamers on it and spin or
Oh
something.
yeah.
Like
Confetti should be like little spermies, and then like it just jizzed on them.
Yes. Yes, I like that.
oh
Silly
Lordy.
string. Silly string.
Oh
Put
my
silly
god,
string
yes.
in it.
Oh, because it's a little damp. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Perfect.
Yes. Get them
Yeah.
all moist.
Yeah.
Oh
Are you an engineer?
no.
Mm.
No.
Okay, now we need an engineer. We gotta get on this. We gotta patent this. This is happening. Market it. So your books are based in New Orleans. Now, have either of you ever been in New Orleans?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
So that must have been another like research project then to like know about it. 'Cause I have no idea about anything other than like bourbon. Like that's it. That's all I know is like Mardi Gras. That's all I know about New Orleans.
I read a
I-
couple of books about New Orleans and New Orleans history.
I
And
did not read.
You're just like whatever happens, happens.
No, I looked stuff up, but
That's where.
I didn't read books. But I got lucky because my editor's from New Orleans,
Oh, that's good.
so that made my life really easy. So I was like, hey, I'm looking for this. Where do you suggest, or what do you suggest, or what would be the right word for this, or whatever? And so I was able to kind of pick at her and be like, I need to know.
yeah, and we like took scenes or places that she gave us and wrote them down together when we were talking about like places that would be significant in both books. Like I think it was Josie. Wasn't that the girl that had the little restaurant? Was her name Josie? The little
Yes.
restaurant in the bayou. I think her name was Josie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Places like that we asked her editor to help us out with and stuff. And then
Did-
planned it beforehand.
Did you find
Yeah.
it difficult to write in an American tone?
No, I don't
No.
even know if there's a difference. I just write.
Oh, okay. I did. I am a bad interviewer or person, and I did not read your book first, so I don't know your reading style. So I just assumed since it was based in America, you were writing in an American tone. So.
I don't even know what that means. I just write how I normally write.
So like with the
I
Canadian tone,
I
it's
used
normally
to
like you
have
say A, and like
yeah. I used to have an issue. I don't anymore because like the one thing that will still come through sometimes is more like, for example, I would say running shoes. It would be like they'd say
They say sneakers.
sneakers,
Yeah.
yeah.
right? I would still call this, even though it's a hoodie, I would still call this a sweater. Down there,
Yeah.
you do not call this a sweater. That's knit. Like that's a knit sweater. Like they picture like a cardigan style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I used to have issues like that where I'd get the wrong word or the wrong phrasing, but I've done too many books in the States now where the editors have smacked my hands. So
They're like, no.
Yeah.
no, stop putting
It's like, we
use.
don't have tubes
Stop
here,
putting
okay?
use.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like no one wears toques, like it's
no,
The
no
I
first
one
call
does
time
them
the
that.
first
I
time I
call
put
them
that in,
beanies. Yeah.
I actually the editor that I had at the time asked me, "What is this?" I said, "What do you mean?" Like I genuinely didn't. I genuinely did. She goes, "Well, is it like that thing that you sit on? You go down a hill?" I was like, "No, that's toboggan."
yeah, that's what he's talking. Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
like, no. So yeah, that was always fun. And I'm always every now and then I'll come out with a phrase that they're like, I don't understand what that is. And I'm like,
yeah.
oh,
Oh yeah, I've
apparently
had
that's a
that happen a couple
Canadianism.
of times. I've had that happen a couple of times where my baiters are like, "What does this mean?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? What does this mean?"
yeah. Like, how do you not understand it? Like,
Yeah. Like this is just a common phrase. What are you talking about?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them I mentioned bagged milk, and people got real funny about it. I want to say it was Apex. I think it was Apex when they were making pancakes. And
Okay.
I talked about bagged milk, and then I remembered that it was in the States, so they wouldn't have bagged milk, but
Yeah.
they didn't know
Well, that's
bagged
it.
milk
But
was a
even
thing.
here, did you know that's really only Ontario?
Yeah,
It's more provinces now.
Ontario and parts of Quebec.
We
yeah.
also
Oh,
have
do
it
you?
in New Brunswick now too.
Oh, do
'Cause
they?
a lot of
Sweet.
I feel like wherever Ontarians like migrated, we forced our culture onto that province.
It's possible.
Yeah, so I don't know if PEI, if we've made it to PEI for bagged milk, but I do know places in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick have bagged milk. we're aggressive like that, like colonizers.
We need our bagged milk, man.
We do. The jugs taste terrible. You could taste the plastic. We need the bagged milk.
I don't think I've ever had milk out of a jug. I think it's always either been like those cartons that tear every time you open them,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
or the jugs, or not the jugs, the bags. I think that's the only.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had it out of a jug.
Yeah,
The thing
you're
that
not
I
missing
like
I
out.
about the bag is that it's easier to pour. And for somebody like
oh my
my
god,
mom,
yeah.
like my mom is elderly, so the trying to grip the great big 2 liter milk or one of those great big jugs, it's too heavy for her.
Mhm.
Where the bag, she seems to have no problem because she can get her hand around the handle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's
So
brilliant. Everyone should
yeah,
drink bag milk.
they should.
Yes,
I
it's
agree.
it's ableist if you don't.
We just had a
Exactly.
very
great.
Canadian conversation.
Yeah.
You do not get any more
The
Canadian
four
than this.
Canadians on a podcast. Well,
Yeah.
Oh dear.
what other questions did I have? I did have some.
I have a whole list.
If you want to take over, you can.
Yeah, yeah.
You can ask another one.
Yeah, okay. All right. So this one's for anybody. Were any of your own personal beliefs challenged while writing this book?
Nope.
You're just like quick. You're like, nope, nothing.
Nope.
I got no
Not for me.
beliefs.
Personal beliefs. Well, let's see. He is a serial unaliver. He does make dog food out of them. I'm not sure I should have that as a personal belief. But I'm gonna go with no because that's a fun answer.
Yeah, that's like a really good way to like dispose, I think. Just like
Yeah.
if you eat the
Nothing
evidence.
He
goes
breeds
to
really
waste.
good dogs, though, so like it works.
Well, and the beautiful thing is, so he feeds the meat to his dogs mixed with other stuff, right? Because they gotta have a balanced diet, of course.
Mhm.
But of course, they're police dogs, and then he sells them to the police. So he
With a
loves
belly
that.
full.
He
Because
loves
they
that
have
they're
the
food.
evidence, but they don't
They
know.
literally are cleaning up the evidence that they're looking for.
That's so great. If you write another book, we mentioned at the beginning to put a rooster in. If you write another one, chickens are also really good at eating absolutely everything. So if you're looking for like a way to dispose of someone,
Chicken coops.
chickens, they're like, get that rooster in there. Dum, 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 dum,
They're not so good with clothes though.
dum.
You're just
No,
gonna
they're
have to make them
not.
naked.
No,
No,
no, that's where the pigs come in handy. I
Oh
use I
yes,
use I
Oh,
use
that's
pigs in cane because they will eat the clothing too.
yeah. No, I don't know about pigs because I don't have pigs, but I do have chickens, and they will even eat bone. Like they will
Oh yeah.
eat hair, bone, everything. So not that I've like personally give them a person.
Are you sure now?
Yeah,
Is this a
yeah,
confession
yeah,
that we should?
yeah, no, like just so in case, for legal reasons. Um, I just I know they will eat everything, but I don't think clothes. I've never given them clothing because that I don't think that's good for them. So I'm
Yeah,
just
no,
like,
no.
But human meat is.
Probably not.
oh yeah, they eat everything. Like I don't know about
Mhm.
human meat. I just want to that's a disclaimer. But like they even eat like they'll if you're processing a chicken like to like for its meat, they will come and drink its blood and like of its friend and like get anything like you've missed behind like the innards that you don't want. Like the chickens will
Mhm.
eat that. Yeah.
Well, they're
gross.
really good at disposing of those that are weak. Like
Oh,
if one of them has an injury,
yeah. You
they'll
got it.
they'll take care of it right away. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, oh,
They're like, don't worry, I got this.
yeah, call the weakest.
Yeah.
Call the yeah.
The
That's
pecking
so
order. Yeah.
morbid, but I love it.
Yeah. I have a lot of chickens. I spend too much time with them. Like
I think we
It's all
should
your life
interviewing
is
her.
chickens.
PSA, her. Okay,
Yeah.
if you're listening,
they
it's not
stop me all
me.
the time. Yeah.
It's not me.
Whenever I want to come home, they stop me. They're like, "Oh, what'd you do here?"
Yeah.
I was buying more chickens.
That's right. I just is for my chickens.
Nothing's going on here. It's just the chickens.
Oh, I should bring them traveling with me. We'll see. Like One of those crazy people. This is my like
You're
service
not coming
animal.
with me with chickens, okay? No.
I just want to put this out there. I'm never traveling with you.
Oh, okay, but it's probably safe. It's
I
probably
have
safe.
enough
Yeah.
problems. I have enough problems.
We'll all be late for any flight if we're like together. Random my ass. Like we're just all stopped.
Yeah. It's all the dark romance authors all lined up. Uh-huh. Sure. Random.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is there any authors that like inspire you or that you like, I don't want to say idolize, but like you just like
Fangirl?
admire?
That we fangirl.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like Ammo Jones a lot. I love her Elite King series. It is her that's probably like my what is it that people say? Roman era book, whatever. That?
A Roman Empire?
Yeah, that.
Or
Yeah. Her
yeah.
Elite Kings series is probably my Roman Empire. I love that series so much. And she's such a real one. She's so sweet.
I've never met her, but I've read yeah, Sicko and what was the other one? The second one. Is it Psycho?
Antichrist?
Sicko? No. No, it was Sicko and I think Psycho. Think. I'm not 100% sure. I know it's the first one, Sicko. But yeah, and I read the second one. And then that's the only books of hers I've read so far. They're good. They're really good.
They're good,
I
yeah.
like the
She's
whole,
really good. She has a way with words.
yeah.
But I like that I like supporting the authors that don't let all their hype go to their head. The ones that still respond to readers and, pay
Hmm.
attention to other people and are willing to help and stayed humble. Those are the ones that I will fangirl and cheer on the whole time. Forever.
Yeah. The ones that don't think that they're like as soon as they sell like a certain amount of copies of books that are just like
Yeah.
above people. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
Those
I've
ones are
only
not
had one
nice.
interaction with an author like that. One. And it was so awkward. But I'll get into that another time.
Yeah.
I don't want to
What
drop
about
names
you,
or anything.
Brooklyn? Who's your fave author?
Your muse or whatever.
I don't really know. This is a really tough question for me because I don't have a whole lot of time to read. So I have a general idea of what everybody writes. I have managed to maybe pick up and read part of people's books or if they've got a shorter piece out there. So I'm more based off of personality than I am necessarily work because I can't I I don't have the time to do both, which saddens me because I was an avid reader and I read all the time. So that's
Mhm.
probably the one thing that I hate about having such a tight release schedule is not having that ability to read.
Mhm.
But if I went with somebody that just inspired me, um, I think that and this isn't an indie author, but I think I'd have to go with J.R. Ward. And part of the reason for that is it was when I picked up the first Black Dagger Brotherhood book that made me feel kind of like, when those moments where you just sort of fall into a world and you are
Mhm.
just in the book so much that you lose all track of time. And when I was struggling, it was the first thing that kind of made me feel awesome again. So I think for that reason, um, it inspired me to write. And I actually in my book Anywhere, I dedicated it to her because it really going through reading that series really just made me be like, yeah, I really want to write. Like I love this. I love creating. So I think that she would be the reason. And she's not an indie author, but I think that would be why.
That's a really good
Nice.
reason. Still, like
That
it's
is.
amazing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I could choose some indies. And one day I've got a stack. You should see my stack. I support everybody. I buy everybody's books. So I've got stacks all over my house of everybody's books that I want to get to. So my TBR is massive. And I don't read on Kindle. I read paperbacks only.
But I think it's
Ah.
still true. Like, I still think it's you saying that she's your muse or, your fave based off
Mhm.
personality and like her work too. But when you commented about personality, that's still a valid reason
Oh yeah.
to,
Mhm.
fangirl and support somebody
100%.
because their personality is going to speak for their work and vice versa too.
Yep,
So
that's
even
very
if you
true.
don't have
Oh,
time to read
100%.
all of their books or all the way through one of their books, you can still adore them and want to support them just
Mhm.
because they're a good person.
Well, and
Hmm.
I'm normally very, very introverted, so, like, I have a hard time, like, I think it was Melissa, you contacted me first, like, way back before you started writing, and, like, my answers are always very sort of, like, quick and quiet at first because I'm more introverted, so I've only just recently started to I'm going to say force myself out of my shell and either contact or introduce myself, walk up to people at, a signing and actually be like, hey, I, I actually now know what you look like, like that kind of stuff. So I'm still getting to know people too, because even though I've been in the indie community for 3 years, I've spent a lot of it kind of like hiding in the background because I was just too nervous to step out into the foreground.
Yeah,
It's hard
no,
putting yourself out there.
it really
Mhm.
is. Believe it or not, I'm an introvert. Like, I know when people like look at me, they're like, "No, you're not." Like, they look at my TikTok and they're like, "There's no way are you an introvert." I'm like, "No, no. Like, I can be on a camera. That's fine. But when I'm in a group, like in like with face to face with people, that's when like I panic and like I
Mhm.
get like anxiety. It's bad. So
My
I'm
mi
too an
my
introvert.
mind goes blank too. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, I have,
Yeah.
like, 10 questions lined up. I'm like, "Okay, I wanna know this, I wanna say this," and then I stand there in front of the person, I'm like, "Beep, beep, 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 beep."
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, that was a great conversation." Turn around and walk away.
Oh, I
Yeah.
feel that. Yeah. Dom Marie's
Yeah.
like,
I
and
still
Jessica are my only friends. Like, what's crazy is like, even though Dom Marie's like an introvert, she's my like support person in doing things. I'm like, Dom Marie, I really need you to do this for me. Because I can't. So like
yeah.
it's crazy though. Like, but I think when you're like advocating for other people, like it's different, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
not for
easier
me, so
then.
it's okay. But yeah, I'm like, Dom Marie, I need you to. She's like, "Oh, fine, you bitch," and that's why she just does it for me.
Make me do work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I have just like one last question. How did you two get together and start this project?
I blame my mom.
That's not
Just
such
let
a
it. Yeah,
great
yeah,
sentence.
yeah.
I blame my mom.
It's my mom's fault. Yeah.
We're
It
in
was a
therapy
good
right now.
it
I
was a
blame my
good
mom.
thing. Well, I can't remember exactly like how it started, but I know in the very early stages of us planning it, my mom was like involved a lot and throwing a lot of ideas for me to like
Mhm.
relay back to Brooklyn and stuff.
Yeah, because originally we
Um,
were talking, like, Florida or somewhere like that,
yeah,
and
and
yeah,
she
and it was
said
your
New
mom that said,
Orleans.
"New Orleans, go New Orleans."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just blossomed from there. Like my mom encouraged me working with her because she knew that I loved Cain and Abel and I loved Brooklyn. Um, and it just blossomed. I don't remember how we originally started talking about it though. It just happened.
I
And we
don't
went with
know.
it.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
remember.
No, we had a couple different conversations, and I don't remember which one it was or exactly how it got going.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But yeah,
We were gonna do Mardi Gras at first, and then my mom was like, "But Mardi Gras is so overdone." And then I think her editor confirmed that the time of year we were talking about doing it wasn't Mardi Gras.
yeah. I always thought, so this is how much I knew about it. I always thought Mardi Gras was near Halloween. Apparently, I am very wrong. It is February.
Yeah, it's like an Easter
I had
thing.
no idea. I thought it was all year round. I
Yeah,
thought like
I had no
literally New
idea.
All year
Orleans is
round.
yeah,
It's all year round.
24/7
It's just a
party
party.
throwing beads. I thought that. I
like
was like, all right.
spring break.
As
Yeah.
soon as you walk the streets, they throw beads at you.
Yeah, you're
You show your boobies. Like, I think as
Oh
soon as
yeah.
you get off the
yeah, it
plane, like
was. We originally talked about doing a spring break book and releasing in the spring. That's what it was, and that's why we
That's
said
right, spring
Florida.
break.
Yeah.
Yes.
It wasn't
Yeah.
supposed to be like fall in New Orleans. Originally it was like spring break. And originally we were only going to write one book together.
Hmm. That's harder. I find co-writes in general hard,
Oh, they
especially if you
are.
have opposite schedules or you can't write together. That
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
you have
it just
different styles and stuff, and then like they mesh. Yeah.
well, it's not even the style. Like you can like if you're working together all the time, you get used to each other's um voice is really what it is, right?
Yeah.
But when you're not zooming like when I did Cain and Abel, nobody can tell the difference between Abel in my book and Abel in her book, or Cain in her book and Cain in my book. And the reason for that is when we wrote together, or when we were writing those books, we zoomed all the time. It was constant.
Okay.
So I would be writing it and I'd be like, "Hey, I've got Abel walking into this room and this is what he's wearing, this is what he said." And she'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's what he'd say." I'm like, "Perfect." And then I could continue on. So there was, and now it went back and forth for both books. But with Melissa and I's schedule to try and do a write like that, it was too difficult because she's, as you heard, she's got a big family, and she's got to kind of squeeze it in wherever. And I work during the day, so I'm kind of like limited to when I can write at night and on weekends. So if you can't line up to write like that, it's just a lot more difficult. It's a slower process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
So we're coming up to our hour. I would like to say thank you so much for both of you for joining us. And on an ending note, would you guys like to leave your socials and where people can find you and any
Where they can
upcoming
buy your
stuff
book.
happening? Yeah.
Well, my books are available mostly on Amazon, but paperbacks are available wherever. So you can just order them in if, like, depending on where you are, if you want to ask the store to order it in. Don't let them lie to you. A lot of times they don't like to order in indie stuff, but they can. Um, so if it's paperback or hardback, then basically any store. But for the most part, all my books are on Amazon. And then my socials, TikTok is just author Brooklyn Cross. Nice and easy, no spaces, nothing. IG is author underscore Brooklyn Cross, just to make life a little more difficult. And other than that, you can hunt me down just about anywhere. Facebook, Messenger, yeah. Email, my website, wherever. My website's www.brooklyncrossbooks.com.
That's great.
I just realized that nobody knew what it was. There you
Yeah,
go.
you're just like, just
Go
find
to
me.
Google and type in
Find me,
author Brooklyn
stalk
Cross,
me.
and all your shit's gonna come up.
Yeah.
So it doesn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make us work for it. It's
Quinn's
perfect.
website. Yes.
So all of my books are available on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. And also the Carving for Kara audiobook is available on my website, as well as I think it's still on Audible. I can't remember though, because I know we were talking about taking it down. You can find me on Instagram at Page Master Mama and TikTok at Dark and Depraved. And I also have a website, which is www.darkanddepraved.ca. And I think that's it. Other than like Facebook and Messenger, like Brooklyn said. You can stalk me, that's fine.
That's right. Just find you. I'm
Just
gonna
find
like
me.
send you a friend request. We'll see. Be like, oh, who's this strange girl? You'll see.
I get so many friend requests. And sometimes I don't accept them because I don't like I try, but like I didn't make a new Facebook for my author stuff. It's my personal Facebook. So like if you're on
It's
there,
like extra stocky. I have
noticed
to
yeah.
know.
that
So if
when
you're like on
you
there,
added me on Facebook.
if you're on there, feel special because like my husband and my kids are on there. Okay, so
Yeah.
I do feel special now because you added me, and I was all like, oh, okay.
you should feel special because I like called you up and like hand delivered you some books and gave you a big hug. But we
You
still have to go
did.
for coffee.
Yes, she sent me Carving for Kara and her fantasy one.
Yeah.
what's it called?
Blood of
Why am I drawing a
Doves.
blank? Yes. And I got like a bunch of stuff. It was really sweet. And so she came to my
We
house
still have to
and
go for coffee
hugged.
though.
We do before the weather gets bad.
Okay, well, let's wait for the kids to go to school first.
In
I
October,
100%.
like right before
October.
Halloween.
Yes,
It's because
let's go to Marshall's.
I'll be in Hamilton. That's why I'm like, oh,
Oh yes, I'm down.
like going before Halloween.
Down.
Okay.
So I have to do something at the end of the episode. I have a little note. So I want to thank our VIP Patreon, Stephanie Hurst. She has been with us right near almost the beginning, supporting us, and we have other tiers starting at $2. And then at our $5 tier, you get all of our extra content, all our pre-drink episodes, whatever else we throw on there. And shit. Yes. I write really bad notes. Yes, our Patreon. And then I also want to thank again Brooklyn and Melissa for joining us.
Thanks
Have
for
a-
having us.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you. It was a pleasure. And I hope we get to have you guys back again. It would be amazing.
Yeah,
I would
I would
love
like that
it.
too. Yes. Have a good night, guys. See you next.
You
Good night,
too.
guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye bye.